is all of them need to be good. So if you have amazing reading skills and you have amazing strategies, but the vocabulary is not good, you're going to get a low score. Or if you have amazing vocabulary and amazing strategies, but your reading skills are not good, you're going to get a low score. You need to be good at all three of them. And we'll show you in this lesson how to improve all three of them. So let's start off with the first piece of the system, which is reading skills. So let's first start off with looking at skimming and scanning. So many students believe that skimming and scanning are the secret to getting a good score. I'm sure you've heard a lot of teachers say this, a lot of students say this, that you need to improve your skimming and your scanning in order to get a good score. They are actually not that important, all right? They are not as important as many students and teachers believe. You need to understand what they are and how they can help you, but you shouldn't focus on them and think that they are some sort of magic secret to getting a high score. It's important you understand them, but it's really important that you understand that there is another reading skill that many people ignore, which is actually the most important skill. So most importantly, you need to understand how they fit into the overall reading system. Remember, it is a system and each part of it is important. So ask yourself this question. If most students believe that skimming and scanning are the key to a high score, why is the average reading score so low? Okay, so what is the average reading score? Average reading score is 6. Okay, so have a look here. Reading 6.2 for males, females. Females are a little bit better than the males, and the males 6.1. So let's call it 6. So the average score worldwide, this is official data from IELTS. Average score for reading is 6, which is quite low. It's lower than what most of you need. So why is it so low if everyone seems to know the secret? The secret they think is learn some skimming and scanning and then get a high score. This is actually not true. It's because they don't learn the entire system. And if you learn the entire system, then you will be able to improve your scores up to a 7, 8, or 9. People who get a 7, 8, or 9 know the entire system. They don't just focus on one thing. So what we're going to do is show you what skimming and scanning are and how it fits into the overall system. So what I would like you to do is have a look here at this map. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and find McDonald's in Times Square in New York. So this is a map of Manhattan, which is one of the boroughs of New York, and we're going to go to McDonald's. And imagine McDonald's is the answer to your reading question. That might sound a bit weird. Don't worry, we're going to help you out with this, all right? Stick with me, it will make sense. So this is where we're going to try and find. So this is Times Square, and here is the McDonald's in Times Square. I want you to imagine this is the answer to a reading question. So how are skimming and scanning going to help us find Times Square? So imagine we're in a helicopter. All right, so we're in a helicopter and we're flying over New York. All right, so over here is New Jersey. Up here is the Bronx, and we just need to really understand where we are. So we're flying around and we need to understand generally where we are. Once we get here, we can identify that, okay, this is Manhattan. This is generally where we need to go. I understand where I am. But can we find McDonald's in Times Square by just doing this? No. It is an important step to understand generally where we are, but skimming alone is not going to help us. So skimming is helpful. It helps us understand generally where we are, but it doesn't help us find the correct answer. It is just part of an overall system. So imagine we're flying down a bit lower and we are looking for the general location of McDonald's in Times Square. So we fly over and we're going to scan for the different parts of the city. And by scanning quickly, we can identify that this is Times Square. It's the brightest, most famous part of New York. So scanning helps us find the location, but does it help us find the correct answer? Can we find McDonald's here from this picture? No. So skimming helped us generally understand where we were. Scanning helped us find the location, but there is a third thing that we need to understand, which is getting up close and understanding exactly where we are. Some people in the comments are complaining that the pictures aren't clear. That's because your internet is slow. All right, that's not my fault. I can't go into your city and fix the speed of the internet. I'm really sorry about that, but that's just the way it is. So what we need to do now is use our third skill, not skimming, not scanning, but close reading. This is down at the street level. So if we're down at the street level, we could look around, and here we are. Here is where we need to go, our McDonald's. So skimming did not help us find the correct answer. Scanning did not help us find the correct answer. Close reading, getting up close, actually helped us find the correct answer. So if all you do is skim and scan, you're not going to find the correct answer. Okay? It helps you. It is a tool. It is part of an overall system. But really what the key is using it to understand exactly where we are, locate the correct place, and then look closely for the correct answer. So skimming can help you understand the general meaning of the text. Scanning can help you locate where the answer is. However, neither help you choose the correct answer. That is the most important skill. Okay, and the most important skill is close reading. So let's now go away from New York and look at how this is applicable to actual reading questions. The text that I'm going to show you, you won't be able to read the text. It'll be a little bit blurry, but don't worry about that, okay? You don't need to read these words. I'm just showing you generally what's going to happen. Okay, so let's say you're doing a matching headings question. And what you do first is you're going to quickly skim through these to understand generally what the paragraphs are about. Okay, so you're going to deploy skimming just to understand generally what they are about. Then you're going to use scanning to find the location of the correct answer. Not find the correct answer, just the location of the correct answer. Then you are going to read closely to find the correct answer. So you skim, you scan, but that is how you would use it for matching headings. So you can see that in order to do well, you need to understand what the skills are and how to use them. Not just go and say, I'm going to use skimming and scanning. You need to understand what they are and use them in the correct order and use them correctly. So reading skills, first of all, we're going to use skimming. So if you wanted to practice this, you would practice quickly looking and understand general meaning of each paragraph. Okay, so that is what you need to do to improve the reading skill of skimming. Scanning, finding unknown words or phrases and guessing meaning from context. All right, so you need to do this in order to improve your scanning. And we're going to show you how you can practice these things. Close reading, you need to understand text in detail while improving vocabulary at the same time. So what we're going to show you is a system where you can improve all three of these skills, because you need to improve the skills before you're able to get one of the higher scores in reading. So, for example, let's say you've two people. One of them goes to the gym and practices 1 day out of the month. Another person goes to the gym and practice 20 days out of the month? Who is going to have the bigger muscles? All right, and that is exactly what you need to do with reading skills. The more someone practices, the better that they're able to become. You're not going to be able to improve your skimming and your scanning and your close reading by watching this video. You need to, in the same way that you can't improve the muscles in your arm by watching a video on how to do press-ups or how to lift weights. You actually have to lift weights. All right, guys, a lot of you in the comments are saying, can we view this on Zoom? Do you have a WhatsApp group? Do you have this? Why don't you just watch the video and focus on watching the video instead of asking questions like that? Because they're just distracting you and they're distracting everybody else. Just watch the video. If you can't do that, then you're not going to be able to sit and focus on a reading test for an hour on test day. So, how do you practice your reading skills? We're going to show you how to practice your reading skills later in the lesson, okay? So we're going to show you how to do that. So we've looked at the first part of the puzzle, which is the first part of the system, which is reading skills. Then we're going to look now at vocabulary and reading strategies. So let's have a look at vocabulary and why it is important as well. So I want you to have a look at this and tell me, do you think that the reading test is a reading test or a vocabulary test? So in the comments, is it a reading test or is it a vocabulary test? So here we have on the left words from the questions, and here we have on the right words in the text. So question words and then words in the reading text, okay? What I would like you to do is just have a look at these and tell me if you think it is a reading test or a vocabulary test. So I'll give you just a minute or so just to read these and think about them. Okay, so if we have a look here, the question word is talking about a civil calendar, but words in the text are talking about a municipal calendar. In other words, if you didn't know that civil and municipal were synonyms, you wouldn't be able to find the correct answer. Months were an equal length, 12 months of 30 days. So you need to understand the word equal, okay, in order to find the correct answer. Divided the day into two equal halves, split the day into two 12-hour periods. So you need to understand divided and split. A new cabinet shape, a new floor standing case design. You need to understand those words as well. To organize public events, to coordinate communal activities. Organize and coordinate are synonyms. Communal activities and public events also mean the same thing. So unless you had a good range of vocabulary and you understood these words, it doesn't matter how good your reading skills are. It doesn't matter how much you've practiced. It doesn't matter how great your strategies are or how great your teacher is or how great your course is. If you don't have a wide enough range of vocabulary, you're not going to get a high score in the reading test. So it's absolutely essential that we improve our vocabulary. So if we have a look here quickly, again, don't worry if you can't read every word or if it's a bit blurry, I'll read it out for you. So let's have a look at some of the question words here. Environmental impact, soil erosion, food output, new prospects for world trade. If you don't understand what these words mean, and there are going to be lots of synonyms of these words in the text, it's not going to say government policy. It's not going to say rich countries. It is going to say a synonym of those words. And if you don't understand these words and you don't understand the synonyms within the text, then you're not going to do so well. So basically, improve your vocabulary, improve your score. And the great thing about improving your vocabulary is, number one, it is going to improve your speaking score. Number two, it is going to improve your writing score. Number three, it's going to improve your listening score. So it will improve absolutely everything. And it will also mean that you are able to communicate with people a lot better when you move to that new country. If you move to Canada, America, Australia, the UK, do you think it's a good idea to have a wide-ranging vocabulary or not? Do you want to be able to speak to people and understand what they're saying? Be a very good idea. So it's not just about the reading test, it's about everything. So you'll not improve your reading score unless you also improve your vocabulary. Therefore, it's essential to improve your vocabulary. Luckily, you can practice your reading skills and your vocabulary at the same time. So we're going to show you a system at the end where you can practice the strategies, the skills, and the vocabulary all at the same time. So I'll give you that at the end of this lesson. I'll show you how to combine reading practice and improving your vocabulary later in this lesson. Okay, so we've done number one, reading skills. We've shown you how they're important, but not as important as people think. And there's a third reading skill that most people are not aware of. We've shown you that the reading test is a vocabulary test as well as a reading test. But there are many different types of question. Therefore, we need to understand strategies. So as you can see, it's all part of a three-part system. You need to understand all three parts, practice all three parts, master all three parts. And I know I'm repeating myself, but most people, you have to say it 7 times before they really understand it. So reading strategies, the third part of the puzzle. So you have to appreciate that there are several different types of questions on the reading test. Each of them tests different sub-skills. So for example, you might have a question which is asking you to match headings. You might have a true, false, not given question. You might have a multiple choice question, or you might have a short answer question, plus many more. There are more than 10 different types of question on the reading test. So you need to have a different approach, a different strategy for all of them. All right. So one thing that I hear a lot on YouTube and I hear a lot from some teachers is just learn one strategy and you'll be able to get a high score no matter what the question. That is wrong. That is really, really wrong. It's not that easy. They're telling you it's easy because they want you to like their video and join their course. I'm not going to tell you it's easy because that will be lying to you. Even though you don't want to hear that, I'm going to show you how you can do it, but it's going to take a little bit of work. Each of these requires a different approach and a unique strategy. Yes, you're going to have to learn 10 strategies. Yes, you're going to have to practice and master 10 different strategies, but that is much less work than failing the test over and over and over again. So let's say we use matching headings for an example, and we're not going to look at the strategy. We're just going to look at the skills that are being tested, all right? Because every different type of question is testing different skills. So understand the main idea of the paragraph, that's a skill. Differentiate between 2 or more similar headings, that's a different skill. Scan to find location of possible answers, a third skill. Understand synonyms and paraphrasing, a 4th skill. And select appropriate answer based on all the information, 5 skills. So they're testing 5 different things. And for a different type of question, they're going to test different things. Therefore, you need a different strategy and a different approach for each different type of question. So here's a strategy for matching headings. So it's just for matching headings, not for anything else. Number 1, if this type of question is on the test, do it first. Why? Because the first thing that you need to do is you need to read each paragraph to understand the general meaning. So if this is the first question, do this one, because this is the first skill that you're going to deploy. It's going to help you understand everything about the text. Don't look at the headings, because the headings are going to confuse you. You're going to get very confused and you're not going to understand the general meaning of the text. So don't look at the headings, look at the paragraphs, the text first, and understand them by skimming them. Also, what you can do is try to sum up the general meaning of each paragraph in 1 or 2 words. So beside each paragraph, try to come up with your own heading. Write your own heading beside each paragraph. And what that does is, whenever you do that, it forces you to understand the paragraph. And what you can then do is look at the headings after that, and many of them you will have already. So it is very, very effective, efficient, strategic way of answering questions, rather than just skim and scan and find the correct answer. That's not the way to do it. You need to have a good strategy for each type of question. Look at the headings and identify keywords within each heading. Match any headings that are very obvious and you're sure about. There will always be about half that are very obvious and you can match them immediately. So that frees up time for you to focus on the ones that you have a problem with. So the easy ones, you're spending no time. The difficult ones, you're spending most of your time. For the others, write 2 or 3 headings beside the paragraph. Identify the difference between each of the headings. If you still can't pick one, move on. The answer will often reveal itself later. So what this does is, like, we've worked on this with thousands of students over the years, and we've developed this. This is our system. This is our strategy. We didn't just copy this from, Google it and copy it from someone else. This works. However, don't go and use this strategy once, and then if you get the questions wrong, blame the strategy. All right? I could give you directions to my house, and the directions could be correct. If you get lost, it's not the fault of the directions. So if you get some questions wrong, it's not the fault of the strategy. You need to understand and master the strategy. You cannot just look at this, go and do some questions, and get the correct answer. You need to repeat it. You need to practice it. You need to completely master it, and then you will be able to get the scores that you need. So a strategic approach to practice. This is the most important part of the lesson, all right? So what we're going to show you how to do now is take the skills, take the vocabulary, and take the strategies and put them all together into one system. And when you are practicing, you are improving all 3 areas. So just doing practice tests is useless. All right, it's not going to help you because you're not fixing your mistakes. You're not preparing strategically. All right, so what we're going to show you now is really, really important, and it's the most important part of the whole lesson. Okay, so we need to put all 3 elements together. Like any skill, you need to practice reading in order to get better at it. If you want to get better at running, you need to run. If you want to get better at golf, you need to practice your golf swing. Better at cricket, you need to practice cricket. Whatever it is, you need to put the work in. However, just picking up a book and reading it is not enough, or just doing practice tests is not enough. We need to learn how to practice actively and strategically. And that's what we're going to show you in the rest of this lesson. So let's have a look at how to practice actively, passive versus active reading. Most people only remember less than 10% of what they read. So if you just read lots of books, you might retain about 10% of what you read. If you do something with it, you're going to remember a lot more. All right, so the key really is to not look at reading and just passively read it. It is to retain that information and do something with that information, and then you are going to really, really improve. Just reading alone, just practicing alone is a bit useless. Okay, so active reading. The key is to do something while you are reading, and then do something with what you read. What do we need to do in the reading test? reading skills, vocabulary, and strategy. So what you are going to do and how to actively read is to do these things while you are practicing your reading. You want to improve your reading skills, improve your vocabulary, and improve your strategy. The more we use these three during our practice, the better we become. And this is also going to save you a huge amount of time, because you are going to really improve and you're going to pass next time. So active reading practice 1. This is the most important part of the entire lesson. Pick something you want to read. So that could be something you enjoy reading. The reason I would say pick something you enjoy reading is because you're going to consistently do it. If you enjoy reading something, you'll do it every day. This is why looking at boring things like IELTS practice tests is not a good idea, because you're not going to do it consistently over a long period of time. Or something related to the task 2 common topics. The common topics for task 2 writing are health, the environment, education. If you read the news, science news, education news, environment news, health news every day, you're going to double up and improve your task 2 writing, but it's just optional extra. Number 2, so once you've got the book that you want to read, or the newspaper article, or whatever it is, quickly skim to understand the general meaning of each paragraph. You're improving your skimming. Write down a title for each paragraph if you want to do extra things with it. And then number 3, scan for any unknown vocabulary. So you're practicing your scanning and your vocabulary at the same time. Underline any new vocabulary, guess the meaning, because you're going to have to do that on test day, and then close read the entire passage and decide on the meaning of the new words or phrases. Don't look up the meaning, don't immediately look it up in the dictionary or Google it. Close read it carefully, and try and guess what the meaning is of the new phrases. So you're practicing your skimming, your scanning, and your vocabulary and your close reading all at the same time. Don't worry, I'll send you this at the end, so you don't have to write it down or anything like that. I'll send it to you at the end of the lesson, don't worry. Number 5, note new words down in a vocabulary notebook. So get a notebook or some kind of note-taking app on your phone or whatever it is, and add all of those new words to that notebook. And then every day you are improving your vocabulary, improving your reading skills, all at the same time. So if you did this for 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, then you will dramatically improve your reading skills and your vocabulary, and you're going to improve your speaking and your reading and your listening and your writing all at the same time. So what you want to do is, in your vocabulary notebook, you don't want to just write down the name of the word, because you're not going to remember it. Look at the amount of information we have here about one word. We have the type of word that it is. It's a noun. We have the pronunciation of the word. We have a picture of the word. We have the meaning. We have example sentences. We have synonyms. We have more examples. We have more synonyms. So this is the level of detail that you want to have in your vocabulary notebook. All the information that you need in order to really remember this word, because you're going to have to remember it and use it on test day. So don't just write the word, and please, please, please do not write the translation. The translation is not going to help you. It's going to lower your score. You need to start thinking in English and operating in English. So let's have a look at, this is an example timetable. I'm not saying you need to use this, but it's just an example that one of our students was using and we helped them with. So they worked Saturday, Sunday, so they had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to study. So what we said was, okay, on a Monday, focus on reading practice, skills and vocabulary. Do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So you're improving your skills, you're improving your vocabulary. And then on Friday, focus on strategy by doing practice tests, and then analyze your weaknesses. And then the next week, you know what your weaknesses are and what you need to focus on. And they did this for, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks, and they went from a band 6 in reading to a band 8 in reading. Not every student will be able to jump from a band 6 to a band 8, but because this student just systematically, strategically did this, they were able to massively improve their reading score. You don't have to follow this. This is just an example of someone who did this. But planning out your practice and your preparation and putting in a time when you want to do it each day will really increase the chances of you actually doing it. Someone says, what about weekends? This is not we're not telling you that you have to do this. This is just a student sample from one of our VIP students. So again, which type of student do you want to be? Do you want to be this person who talks about getting stronger and improving, or do you want to be this person who actually does it? The difference between this person and this person is not anything to do with their intelligence or anything like that. It is just they do it. All right, this person doesn't do anything, this person does it. All right, that's exactly what you need to do. You need to do these things. There's 2,500 people watching this. I would estimate that about 200 of the people watching this will actually do it. Most people don't want to do the work. Most people want to use tips and tricks and hacks and shortcuts. This is what tips and tricks and hacks and shortcuts get you. This is what someone just doing what they're supposed to do gets you. So practice tests. You can also use practice tests to help you out with strategy. So number 1, get an official practice test. The only people who make official practice tests are Cambridge. If your practice test is not from Cambridge, it is not an official practice test. It doesn't matter if the website it calls itself IELTS tests or IELTS official tests or IELTS online tests. If it's not Cambridge, it is a fake test. Fake tests are either too easy or too difficult. Only use official practice tests. Number 2, do the test as slowly as you like. Don't try and do it at test speed. If it takes you 4 hours on one test, take 4 hours. Your goal here is not to do it quickly. Your goal is to understand the strategies and master the strategies and understand what your weaknesses are. The goal is to master the strategies first, so take it slowly. Build speed up week after week after week. So you get, if it takes you 2 hours on week 1, try and do it in 1 hour 45 minutes in week 2, then 1 hour 30 in week 3, then 1 hour 15 in week 4, and then 1 hour in week 5, as an example. You're building up slowly. The most important thing, if you only do one thing, or if you only learn one thing from this entire week, this is the most important thing. Analyze your mistakes. If you analyze your mistakes, you are going to understand exactly why you were going wrong. And if you do that, you will then be able to improve that area. So it's about identifying your weaknesses and then turning those weaknesses into strengths until you have no more weaknesses. Why did you get each question wrong? Think about that. Look at your past mistakes. Why did you get it wrong? And then work on improving your weakest areas. We had a student the other day who the only problem that they had was spelling mistakes. They kept getting a band 6.5 for listening and reading, not because of their strategies or their skills or their vocabulary or their English. It was just spelling mistakes. So that student fixed the spelling mistakes. They went from a band 6.5 to a band 8. All right, just by focusing on their weakest areas. What are your weakest areas? Is it vocabulary? Is it skills? Is it strategy? What is it? So it could be spelling, could be timing, could be strategy, could be vocabulary, or it could be particular question types. You might really struggle with true, false, not given, or matching headings, or maps questions, or labeling questions. What type of question do you struggle with? And focus on that. Don't focus on your strengths, focus on your weaknesses. So what we can do here is get a practice test, improve strategy, and establish weaknesses. Analyze weaknesses. Why did you get each question wrong? Spend most of your time on this, and then improve those weaknesses, turn them into strengths, and then do another practice test. Establish what your next weakest thing is, improve that, then do another practice test. Establish what your weaknesses are, improve that. If you do that, you're going to dramatically improve. Tips and tricks, like going on the internet and watching videos on YouTube talking about top 10 tips on how to improve your reading, they're bullshit. They don't actually help you at all. They help those people get likes and subscribers, and they make money out of you by doing that. They don't actually help you improve your score. So remember, tips and tricks are not going to work. My strategy will take a little more time and hard work in the short term, but in the long term, it will save you a huge amount of money, of time, and of stress. Failing the test is very stressful. It takes up a huge amount of time, and it costs a huge amount of money. Every day you are not working in that job in Canada or London or America or Australia, how much money are you losing? Think about that. How much money are you currently making per day? How much money could you make in a better job with a better IELTS score? And think about how much money you are losing every day you are not in that job. So by looking for tips and tricks, you think that you're saving time and money and stress. It's actually the opposite. All right, put a little bit more work in, get the score that you need, and go and move to the country of your dreams and earn the money that you deserve and look after yourself and look after your family. Don't believe people on YouTube who tell you that they have the secret or tips and tricks. They're just trying to get big on YouTube. They don't really care about you. Okay, so summary. You need to understand what the essential reading skills are. You need to improve your vocabulary. You need to focus on your reading strategies. And you need to practice strategically, so putting it all together. A lot of that might have been a bit overwhelming, or you didn't understand it. I'll send you this lesson in the next, what time is it? 15 minutes or so. Check your email and you can go and look at that. Okay. So to summarize, you need to focus on your reading skills, your vocabulary, and your reading strategies, and put it all together. All right. It's part of an overall system. I know I keep saying that. I know I keep repeating myself, but the 90% of you will just watch this video and do nothing. I'm really speaking to the 10% of you who actually want to improve and want to do the work. So here's your task. Download the PDF practice worksheet. I'll post it in the description of this lesson after the lesson. So if you look at the description above, you will be able to, you'll get a link and you just click on that, and I'll also email it to you. Okay? Please don't start saying, where is it? It is going to be in the description at the end of the lesson, and I'll also email it to you. Don't panic, okay? Apply the strategy for answering these questions to the practice questions and analyze your mistakes. And post your answers below this video, okay? So we're going to give you the strategy for one type of question, the text, all of the things you need, and practice that strategy and put the questions in at the end, okay? So I'm going to post it in the description of this lesson once I finish the lesson in about 5 minutes or 10 minutes, depending on how many questions you get, and I'll also email it to you, okay? So don't panic. So guys, thank you so much. Hope that you enjoyed that lesson. That is how to actually improve your reading skills and your strategy and your vocabulary, by treating it as a system and practicing as a system, okay? I'll email everything to you immediately after this, so check your email and post your answers to the task below this video. All right. If you have any questions, I'll answer them now. So if you have any questions, I will help you out with them. Okay. So can I get a certificate or any certificate available here? No. Why would you get a certificate for watching a video? You don't deserve a certificate for watching a video. You only get certificates for doing difficult things. Watching a video is not a difficult thing. You get a certificate, an IELTS certificate, when you do the IELTS test. So yeah. Let's see, any more questions? How do I concentrate? Concentration, focus is a skill you need to develop. Just like running, you can run for 10 minutes, and then the next day 11 minutes, and then the next day 12 minutes, and then the next day 13 minutes, and you build up to 60 minutes. You don't immediately go from couch potato, lazy person, to world-class runner. You do it bit by bit by bit. Same with focusing on reading. You try and focus for 1 minute, and then 2 minutes, and then 3 minutes, and you build up that. It's like a muscle. So if you do that, you're going to improve. You cannot, please don't do this. A huge number of students that we speak to, and they say, I want to get a band 8 in reading. And we say, well, how often do you read in English? How many minutes per day do you read in English? And they're like, what? Like, how often do you read in English? Never. So how are you going to get a band 8? You know, you need to develop reading as a habit. And the best way to do that is to read books that you enjoy. Pick something you enjoy reading, that's something that you're passionate about. So for example, all of those books there are on topics that I love. Leadership and business and strategy and things like that, and education. And I've read all of those books because I enjoy reading them. But in school, I didn't read hardly any books because I wasn't really interested in those topics. So find something you're passionate about. How do I improve my reading speed? Good question. You don't need to improve your time management, and you don't need to improve your reading speed. You need to improve your reading skills, your vocabulary, and your strategies. All right. You don't have a problem with speed. You don't have a problem with time management. You have a problem with reading. Become a better reader, and then you will have no problem with time management. Usain Bolt was not good at time management. He was really good at running. The people who finished behind Usain Bolt when they were running were not poor time managers. They were just not as good at running. Improve your reading and you'll have no problems with speed or time management. Could you elaborate more on true, false, not given? True, false, not given, just like matching headings, you need to have a strategy. The strategy for true, false, not given and the strategy for matching headings are completely different. So you need to find the strategy for true, false, not given that works. You'll find it on our website. Go to IELTSadvantage.com or just Google IELTS Advantage, true, false, not given. And then the most important thing is that you don't just read that strategy and then go and do a practice test. That doesn't work. You need to master that strategy by doing practice tests, slowly learning the strategy, learning your weaknesses, and then developing that over time. What's the major differences between academic and general for reading? Not as much as you think. The question types, true, false, not given, matching headings, short answer questions, multiple choice, you'll get them in both general and academic. So the strategies are exactly the same, the reading skills are exactly the same, the vocabulary in general is the same. The difference is the text, the reading text. The reading text for general is general, and the reading text for academic is academic. So, but it doesn't really matter because most people don't have a choice of whether they do academic or general training. So find out which one you need to do and just do that one. But you can use, if you're doing general training, you can use the academic practice test. And if you're doing academic, you can use the general training practice test as well. Will you upload a video regarding the other skills of IELTS, such as listening? Yes, tomorrow, 9 a.m., speaking. Monday, 9 a.m., writing task 2. And then that's the end. We're not doing listening and we're not doing writing task 1 because we don't have time. Can you tell us the best resource to get a huge amount of vocabulary? Yes, the English language. Any book, the internet, anywhere that you can find real things to read in English, that is your source of vocabulary. You are not going to improve your vocabulary by buying vocabulary books. You're not going to improve your vocabulary by downloading lists of vocabulary. Any teacher or any school that gives you lists of vocabulary, they don't know what they're doing, because that has been proven. Many academic studies have proved that learning lists of vocabulary does not work. What works is get a book that you're interested in, read that book, and then underline any new words, and then add those words to a vocabulary notebook, just as we showed you in the lesson. Watch the replay of the lesson if you didn't get that part. Just looking for a new question. Will reading the dictionary help me improve my vocabulary? No, that's the worst idea that you could ever have. Do you think that you have the discipline and the passion to read the dictionary every day for 30 minutes a day for 6 months? No, you don't. If you did have that type of discipline, you wouldn't be watching this video because you would have already got the scores that you needed. Don't underestimate how important discipline is and habits are and things like that. That's why you should read something you're interested in. Is 3 months enough to prepare for the exam? Some people yes, some people no. I don't know anything about you. Some people I can help them in 1 day. Some people I can only help them in 1 year. And everybody else is in between. Because it depends on 20 different factors that I don't know about you. So for most people, 3 months will be enough, but it totally depends. Like somebody who just needs help with test strategy, 3 months, 90% of people, no problem. Somebody who needs help with grammar and pronunciation, like they're really poor, no way can you help someone in 3 months for most people. How can I improve my skim read? We just had a whole lesson on how to do that. So maybe you didn't see the start of the lesson. I'll email you the lesson and it tells you exactly how to do this. Kindly send the link to Cambridge practice tests. No, because you should buy them. If I sent you the link where you could download them for free, that would be breaking the law. Are you trying to say that I should be a criminal and help you break the law? No, don't do that. Please don't do that. If you're a criminal, stop watching. Go somewhere else. Hang out with other criminals. Any recommendations of teachers? Yes, us. We have some of the best IELTS teachers in the world ready to help you if you want. It's not just me. We have a team of 30 people working for the company. How to remember vocabulary for a long time. The key is to do something with the vocabulary. So that's why we tell you to add it to a vocabulary notebook, and then you're going to review that vocabulary, and then you use that vocabulary when you're speaking or when you're writing. Do I need to clear IELTS if I want to pursue a teaching job in the UK? Absolutely. They're not going to let you teach kids if you don't have a high IELTS score. Would you let your kids be taught by someone who couldn't speak the language? So yeah, it's very important. Please help us with some common words to help us improve. There are no common words. How are you going, if you want a band 8, band 9, band 7 for reading, you're not going to get there by learning common words. Because if you look at any of these practice tests, the answers to the more difficult questions are not common words. So you need to be improving your vocabulary and having a wide range of vocabulary rather than just learning the 100 most common words, because you need a lot more than that. Kindly suggest any news channels or newspapers which will be helpful. It doesn't matter, just pick one. Students always ask questions like, which news channel should I look at? Or which newspaper should I read? Or which book should I read? That's like someone going to the gym and saying, should I use Nike shoes or Reebok shoes? Should I use Under Armour or Puma t-shirt? Should I wear a blue t-shirt or a red It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that you actually do it. So if you want to read the news every day, just pick a newspaper. Any newspaper in English has English in it. There's no one that's going to help you. You are going to help you by reading it. The paper is not going to help you. Where can I find the official test from Cambridge University? Google it. Cambridge practice tests. You can go and buy them. Any of your local bookstores should have it as well. Amazon, wherever you buy books, you can go and buy them. I know many of you want to download them for free, but if you get caught, you're not going to be able to move to a new country, because new countries are not going to allow criminals in. So is it worth the risk of downloading something for free and then they catch you doing it, and then immigration don't let you in? It's a big risk to take. They're not that expensive. They're not as expensive as failing the test over and over and over again. Please don't ask the same question again and again and again and again. It means that I can't see any of the other questions. I can just see the 3 people that are just asking the same questions again and again and again. And one of those people is the person who asked, should I read a dictionary? Which says a lot. Okay guys, I'm running out of time. I'm really sorry that I couldn't answer all of your questions. It's really difficult to find questions if the same people just keep asking the same question over and over and over again. I will be available at 2 p.m. UK time, so I'll be back on here and I'll do a 1 hour of Q&A, and I'll block the people who were asking the same question over and over and over again, because it's not fair to the rest of you guys who I really, really do want to help. Thank you very much, guys. I will email you this video, and the video will be higher quality because it'll be recorded, if you had any problems with the quality, and I will email you the practice question and the practice strategy and everything, as well as a PDF you can download. You can also get the PDF after this. I will put it in the description, and I'll see you at 2 p.m. today for a live Q&A and feedback on the task, and I'll see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning for how to improve your speaking, and Monday morning 9 a.m. for writing class 2. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate you watching and giving me your time. I understand that IELTS is a really, really important thing. We take it very, very seriously, and we just want to thank you for giving us your time and allowing us to help you out with that. Thank you very much, guys. And if you have any questions, you need our help, feel free to email us as well. Thank you very much, guys. See you again soon. Bye-bye.